Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Purveyor in Fallout 76. It is once again time for us to go visit Mama Mumbles, burn through 1,000 Scrip, and see if she's got anything good for us today. We tried a little bit of a mix of things last time, and it didn't go so well, so let's go right back to ranged weapons like we usually do. We usually seem to have a little bit better luck that way. Remember, if you like videos like this and you want to see more, do go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. There's always a lot more to come on the channel. And without further ado, let's go test our luck. All right, Mama Mumbles, our first roll's gonna be a giant piece of crap. Okay, we've got a Hunter's Assaultron head with limb damage and 90% reduced weight. The only good thing this has going for it is that it only weighs 0.8 pounds, so its 40 Scrip isn't going to take up a whole lot of space in the stash. The Hunter's effect is just not very desirable. It will be getting a buff in the next update to 50%, but people don't usually keep around items just to hunt animals with, and if they do, it's certainly not an Assaultron head. Those have been bugged in one way, shape, or form since kind of the beginning of the game, and they're just not very good, so sadly, this one's a dud. Let's see what she's got next. And now a Ghoul Slayer's Flamer with VATS critical shots doing more damage and 25% less VATS AP cost. So here again, another dud. The Ghoul Slayer's effect is probably a little bit more useful than Hunter's, and it will be getting the same buff. All those Slayer's effects will. But sadly, VATS perks, VATS effects on a weapon like this, not super useful. Not useful really at all. This is definitely more of a hip fire kind of weapon. Maybe an aim down sights weapon if you've got extra damage while aiming, but you're not going to use this in VATS. So unfortunately, this one is probably going to be real quick to go back to the Scrip bin because it's just too heavy to hang on to. Do we have anything else good? We've got a Vampire's Crusader pistol with VATS hit chance and 25% less VATS AP cost. So this is a pretty solid weapon right here. Gotta tell you, it is. This one's very good. Now, with the Vampire's effect, I would certainly like a lot more if you could put an automatic receiver on this weapon. With it being just semi-automatic, it's not super effective, but it's still pretty good. VATS hit chance is going to get a buff in the next update, going from 33% to 50%. So that's going to be really valuable, and that synergizes really well with less VATS AP cost. Now, the other downside to this one, of course, is it's a Crusader pistol. I'm rolling this on my heavy gunner. I have no use for this weapon on this character. Now, maybe I can carry it around as kind of a low-level plinker sort of weapon, but it's definitely disappointing that I can't take this and transfer it to another character. Even if that character knows the plan or anything like that, there's just no way. So this is a really good roll on a character that really can't use the weapon. So that's kind of a shame. So yeah, great roll, bad timing. Let's see what we've got next. And now we've got, a Vampire's Railway Rifle with bashing damage and 25% less VATS AP cost. So Vampires on a weapon like this is probably better than on that pistol because it's an automatic receiver. At least it can be an automatic receiver. Now, the downside here is you're going to reload it very often, so not perfect for Vampires, but when you're pairing that with a weapon as powerful as a railway rifle, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Whatever you were shooting at is going to be dead by the time you reload, unless it's a boss. Bashing damage, we'll revisit that in a second. 25% less VATS AP cost, that definitely pairs well with this weapon. If you're going to put an automatic receiver on it, you're not using this outside of VATS. The recoil is just way too crazy, so that's definitely a good effect to get on this one. And bashing damage here is, again in the next update, going to get a buff from 40% to 50%. It's better than nothing, I suppose. I am normally very anti-bashing damage, but this weapon happens to have some really nasty looking bayonets you can put on it. So could this potentially be a weapon where you can put a bayonet on, maybe take the basher perk and kind of make the most out of that in addition to the vampire effect? Maybe. Maybe it could. Maybe we'll take a look at that at some point in the future. I don't know how excited I am to try that, but this one's definitely an interesting roll, if not an amazing one. And now we've got a Bloodied pipe revolver with 10% damage while aiming and a VATS critical meter that fills 15% faster. So the pipe revolver is an intriguing weapon to begin with. It does pretty solid damage. You can put a suppressor on it. So if you want to run it as a pistol, it's one of the few non 10mm or pipe pistols that, well, I guess it is still kind of a pipe pistol, but regardless, you can put a suppressor on and sneak with it, so that's good. In addition to that, if you want to double dip, you can put a rifle stock on it and benefit from both pistol and rifle perks, which is also kind of cool. Now, the Bloodied effect, of course, is still the king of all damage, so definitely a good one to roll there. 10% damage while aiming is going to get a buff to 25% damage while aiming. So I think that particular effect is going to become a good bit more desirable. So that's kind of interesting. That's critical meter filling faster on this one. You know, it's kind of nice that you have an alternative there if you do use it in VATS, but really the Bloodied and damage while aiming is, that's the star of the show here. So not a bad roll. It might be one we see at some point in the future. And now we've got another Vampire's Crusader pistol. This one again with bashing damage and faster movement speed while aiming. So, in light of the fact that we can't trade these or transfer them to other characters, this one's going to go back in the Scrip bin. This is effectively, for a weapon like this, this might as well be a 1-star Crusader pistol. The Vampire's effect we already talked about. We don't need to go into that. Bashing damage here, while it will be getting a buff, is still going to be useless. Faster movement speed while aiming. If you've got the Speed Demon mutation, you will see no benefit from that. So in light of the fact that I can't do anything else with this weapon, it's 40 Scrip. Thanks, Mama Mumbles. And we've got a Berserker's 50 cal machine gun with 50% limb damage and 90% reduced weight. So yeah, this one, I'm trying to think of something good for this. I guess maybe, if you were a Berserker's build and you ran maybe rifles or melee most of the time, the advantage to a weapon like this would be that you can carry it with you because it only weighs 1.8 pounds. So you're going to be somewhat weight limited if you're running a Berserker's build. So something like this could actually be okay, even though it's not really the kind of weapon you typically want to run with that sort of build. So maybe there's somebody out there who could take advantage of it, but I'm not really convinced of that, honestly. Berserkers on a heavy gun just isn't what anybody's looking for, at least not the vast majority of the time. If you happened to be into it, then of course this would give you your Berserker's effect. You get limb damage, which could slow down some enemies. Maybe if you're I can see this now a little bit more. Maybe if you're a Berserker's melee build, and you need something to take down Scorch Beasts or at least get them to land. It's lightweight, the ammo is cheap to produce, it has limb damage which can help cripple wings. Okay, maybe there's a niche case for this, but it's a stretch. This one, this one's probably a dud. And this one is also a dud. We've got an Exterminator's minigun with limb damage and 90% reduced weight. Well, at least the last one may be paired up with someone's build, but nobody's building an Exterminator character. So while this will get a buff to 50%, just like the other Slayer type effects, sadly, Mirelurks and bugs are just not something anybody's keeping around weapons for. Limb damage again on a heavy gun, not the worst thing in the world. You're putting a lot of shots down range with something like this, so in big events with big mobs, crippling limbs can definitely be helpful, but I just don't see this being the one that people carry around. 90% reduced weight does make it flexible, so if you really wanted to keep it, you could. I just don't see anybody doing that. And for our second to last roll, we've got a great big bag of worthlessness. We've got a Stalker's laser pistol with VATS critical shots doing more damage and 90% reduced weight. So, Stalker's effect, primarily a stealth effect. If you're not in combat, you get double VATS accuracy at 50% AP cost. That's not particularly useful. They could change this effect dramatically by making that a sneak attack multiplier that would stack on top of everything else that you do, and that would make it desirable. As it stands, it's completely and utterly useless, and I'm not even entirely sure that it works. VATS critical shots doing more damage, that's a nice thing to have, but on a laser weapon where damage is already kind of crappy, it's not really very good. 90% reduced weight, it's fine, it doesn't hurt. That's definitely probably one of the better effects on it, but once you put some mods on it to make it at least a little bit more useful, you're going to lose most of that. So sadly, the primary effect doesn't really do anything, and on top of that, even if it did, you can't suppress the sound from these weapons, so you can't really effectively sneak with it. So with that in mind, you know, it's kind of doubly useless. So unless you just really love laser weapons and really want your VATS critical shots to do more damage, then that one is definitely a dud, as is this. Ouch. Okay, well, we had a couple interesting things today, but this is not one of them. We've got an Assassin's Missile Launcher with plus 10% damage to humans, which, like the other Slayer's effects, will go up to 50% with the next update. VATS critical shots doing more damage and faster movement speed while aiming. The only real scenario where I can see this maybe being useful would be in PvP, but I just think it's too slow of a weapon, and with the damage, no, erase that. No, this is not going to be useful in PvP because you have a 110 damage cap, so you know, you could lay down as much damage as you want on another player, and this is going to do nothing for you. So yeah, sadly, this one's just big, heavy, and useless. Sadly, that's gonna wrap up our run at the Purveyor today. And while we certainly didn't end on a positive note, we did get a couple of interesting things today. We got that Vampire's VATS Hit Chance Crusader pistol, which is a really awesome roll, even though it's not an awesome roll for this character. Maybe something will change in the future for that. And then we also got that Vampire's railway rifle, so that's also an interesting one. So lots of duds, but a couple of interesting things. And that's gonna wrap this one up, folks. If you enjoyed this video, as always, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, follow me on Twitter. There's a bunch of places to find me. There's always more content to come, and I do hope I see all of you next time.